right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, legends of golf in St. Louis.
We're also a great golf town.
The tournament driving a major impact for the city.
We started off in the 30s and 40s today. What a chilly morning it was. How close this was to a record and why not many mornings will be like this the next 7 days.
Our top story, a bus stop mishap leaving a young child behind and alone.
It's been terrifying.
Tonight, a family is demanding answers.
Good evening, I'm Laura Barcheski. Mike Bush has the night off. Parents in the Maplewood-Richmond Heights School District are raising concerns after their kindergartner was put on a school bus and dropped off at an unknown location. Tonight, they're talking only to 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan, asking for the school to take accountability.
It was a typical Friday afternoon for James Kimball until he received a frightening phone call.
We've been restless ever since this all happened, thinking like, what could have happened?
On the phone was the principal of the Maplewood-Richmond Heights Early Childhood Center, letting Kimball know that their 5-year-old son with special needs had gotten separated from his classmates on his way to after-school care and wound up on a bus.
It was only because another parent noticed that he was by himself with no backpack or anything that they realized something was wrong. We don't know where he was dropped off at. We don't know if it was on our street. We don't know if it was in a different part of the town. We don't know any of that.
Kimball and his wife Echo drop off and pick up their son Ozzy every day. So they're baffled how he got on a bus he was never supposed to be on.
We've been through a lot of emotions. We've been angry, we've been confused, and we've been scared because we came this close to losing our child in a situation that he should never have been put in the first place.
We reached out to the Maplewood-Richmond Heights School District for answers. They said they are aware of the incident and have been in contact with the family while they investigate what happened.
I just want to know how it happened, how he got misplaced.
The couple posted about it on Facebook, hoping to find and thank the mom who found Ozzy. But to their surprise, they found other parents in the district who've experienced similar situations.
But I've heard from some moms that they've had incidents where their kids have gotten on the wrong bus.
We need to know that not only is it not only going to happen with our kid again, because that's just not an option, but that it's not going to happen with anybody else's kids.
Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
The family says the school told them they would get a follow-up about what happened, but haven't heard anything since Friday. They're still looking for the unidentified mother who found their son to thank her. Well, you're taking a live look at downtown after a pleasant fall weekend, but we may be in for a midweek warm-up soon. Meteorologist Gary Frank is here with our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, chilly right now, and that's one of the last mornings that we're going to see like this for a while. We're going to gradually warm up. Not crazy, not humid, but it's cooling down just a little bit after temperatures got in the mid-70s today. The wind is calm, and we're already at 64 at the airport. We got to 80, or we got to 75. Our normal's 84, so that's the big difference. We still have very dry air into the rest of the overnight hours. We're not going to drop a ton more in the city. We're still in the low 50s, but our main story and our main weather impact for this week is we're going to stay dry and warm up. Believe it or not, though, our next rain chance looks to be like it's coming from the tropics, and I think that's going to be something that we look at here more specifically. At least I'm here on a Sunday night talking about a rain chance. We just have not seen it. We're finally going to see that, but temperatures will warm up in the interim and stay pretty dry. We'll talk about how your week starts, how close today was to a record, and how long it's been since we've had any rain as we track that rain chance at the end of the week.
Gary, thanks. Tonight, Maryland Heights police are investigating after gunshots rang out at a church carnival. Police say they were shutting down the Holy Spirit Carnival because multiple fights broke out. That's when someone started shooting at a park across the street. Nobody was hurt. 4 people were taken into police custody. Parishioners say the carnival is one of its biggest fundraisers.
It's always been a safe place for myself, and what happened last night was very unfortunate, but it is really where times are going.
Maryland Heights police are asking anyone with more information about Saturday night to contact the department at 314-298-8700. Tonight, police are still looking for a stolen car suspect who appears to have jumped into the Missouri River. It happened this morning along I-70 in St. Charles. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says 2 men got out of the car on the Blanchette Bridge and jumped over the railing. One of them was found hiding on a girder under the bridge. He told police the other man fell into the river. The Ferguson community came together today to raise money for Officer Travis Brown. He has been in the hospital for almost a month, recovering from a severe head injury after he was tackled by a protester. Today, Monterey's Cigar Lounge held a fundraiser to help support Brown's family and pay for his medical bills. Friends of Brown say they feel his absence every day and hope he comes back soon.
All he does is smile. Like, he has a very contagious smile. Like, no matter what the situation is, he's smiling, or he's very goofy and just a very good person, very supportive, and just a very, very good friend overall.
The most recent update on his GoFundMe page says Brown is still battling pneumonia. That page has raised almost $160,000 for Brown and his family. We have a link in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. Tonight, abortion advocates held a virtual rally as they fight to keep abortion on the November ballot. A judge recently ruled the abortion amendment didn't meet state petition requirements, opening the door for it to be removed from the ballot. Leaders with Missourians for Constitutional Freedom laid out their plans to fight the ruling, as well as how to support their cause. Right now, the group plans to appeal the decision. The stage is almost set for the first presidential debate. It's now less than 48 hours away. Crews are preparing Philadelphia's National Constitution Center to host Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump on Tuesday night. Pennsylvania is a critical battleground for both candidates. Harris's campaign says she's been holding mock debates to prepare in Pittsburgh, while Trump says he has meetings planned to go over strategy. Surrogates on both sides are weighing in on what to expect.
Stay away from personal attacks, you think, Governor?
Well, I think that when he stays on the issues, policies, absolutely, those are the winning issues.
Because he's a master of taking any form or format that is on television and turning it into a show that is all about him.
You can watch the full debate Tuesday night at 7 right here on 5 on Your Side. It was the final day of the Ascension Charity Classic at Norwood Hills Country Club. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall shows us how the PGA Champions Tour event has become a hole-in-one for the region.
It's arguably the biggest St. Louis golf tournament of the year, the Ascension Charity Classic at Norwood Country Club. Averaging an economic impact around $10 million, according to the tournament's Director of Business Development and Community Engagement, Alonzo Bird.
This has been great for St. Louis. I mean, when you think about this, is shown on Golf Channel, and which is national and international. So St. Louis, every time they come in and out of a commercial, there is some type of what they call bumper that says, coming to you from the beautiful Normandy, St. Louis area.
Since 2020, more than $2.6 million has already been raised for charities in North County, like the Boys and Girls Clubs and Urban League. Extra special for North County native former Norwood caddy and now Missouri Sports Hall of Famer Jay Delsing.
I couldn't check more personal boxes to have this tournament to raise money for the community I grew up in, on the course I grew up at, and then playing, you know, I grew up with all these guys.
Ultimately, Korea's Y.E. Yang would win this arch-inspired trophy. Little fun fact for you, Yang has played in the Ascension Charity Classic 3 times. He's placed 3rd, then he got 2nd, and now he's just won the whole darn thing. And on Sunday, I was able to watch his morning driving range routine, and his swing is smooth like butter. It's consistent, and it's easy. It's just so fun to watch, and that's why he was able to come up from a lot of these fairways onto the green and then drop a lot of really important putts, especially on the 18th, which we were able to ask him just a little bit more about.
I'm happy to play this course because this course, I think, very hilly, and then some feeling I playing to Korea because Korea many course is a hilly course, and here feeling very similar.
In Jennings, Annie Krall, 5 on Your Side.
The tournament will be back at Norwood next year with a new title sponsor. This weekend, St. Louis-based Stiefel Financial Corp signed a 3-year agreement. The 2024 Paralympics Summer Games are over. More than 4,400 athletes from nearly 200 countries participated in the closing ceremony tonight. They marched through the stadium, greeting fans and waving their country's flags. Team USA finished 3rd in the games with 105 medals. China won the most medals with 222. 6 of the 200-plus members of Team USA had ties to the St. Louis region.
A picture worth more than words.
No one wants to be alone.
The local photographer developing a community of hope, one click at a time.
This whole mess down in the Gulf, believe it or not, that's our next best chance for rain. What tropical storm or hurricane it will be named, and when it'll arrive in our area and give us our next best chance for rain. That's ahead.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones we can't see. In tonight's Making a Difference report, the local photographer helping to develop a community of hope, one click at a time.
We know you have a big smile.
Behind every one of these camera clicks, a story unfolds that no image can fully capture.
Give fishy kisses.
Photographer Kaylee DeSico focuses her lens on a sweet 5-year-old girl.
They're so cute.
Two stories of resilience converging in one shot.
Go, come on.
We first met Kaylee when she was a camper at the Mike Bush Baseball Camp for the Deaf and became a favorite of Hall of Famer Lou Brock.
Very good again.
But her hearing impairment was just the beginning of Kaylee's journey. At 14, a new word entered her vocabulary, one that would reshape her world, Chiari.
Nothing I can't handle, that's all I kept thinking, is nothing we can't handle.
Chiari malformation occurs when part of the brain is pushed into the spinal canal due to a small or misshapen skull, often causing severe pain and neurological symptoms.
I eventually got to the point where it felt like there was a giant bowling ball on the back of my head just pulling me back all the time, just tons of tension, tons of weight.
But Kaylee's journey with Chiari wasn't a solo expedition. Her mother, Diana Cameron, soon found herself navigating the same uncharted territory.
I got a headache so severe, I thought I was going to die, and it would never go away.
Through a gauntlet of surgeries and relentless pain, Diana discovered a new purpose: to be a beacon for others lost in the fog of this diagnosis.
Because no one wants to be alone. No one wants to sit and think. It's just me. I was just going to put the link up.
This mother-daughter duo now weaves a tapestry of support, creating a community where those facing the same invisible giant never walk alone.
I'm gonna like me when I do the right thing.
And Diana has become an anchor for people like Julia Kieseman, whose daughter Amber navigates Chiari and other challenges.
Do you like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is a lifeline to me. Every day. I have my own style.
Though she's just 5, little Amber is rewriting the rule book of what's possible.
She is capable of learning. She is talking. She can't stand up and walk on her own, but she can get herself around in that wheelchair.
There we go.
In each shot, Kaylee DeSico sees beyond the frame. She photographs echoes of her own story, developed in shared adversity.
Good. It is a very isolating disease, so you just need to make sure you have your own little crew there supporting you.
Here we go.
2 women helping to make the invisible visible.
You're going pretty fast.
And bringing resilience and hope into focus.
By doing that, we can hopefully get this maybe cured or at least a little bit better for us Chiarians in the future.
Kaylee and Di are hosting the Conquer Chiari Walk on Saturday, September 21st at Boulevard Park in Lake St. Louis. For more information, you can go to KSDK.com. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com.
We have a warm-up headed our way. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now.
Yeah, I
with
hope
the
so, because
weather
I'm cold.
impact forecast, right?
I'm cold
Yeah.
in here, Laura.
We
I'm
are
cold. I don't know if you can see my breath on there, but that's the low temperatures today, very similar to what the temperature is in here right now. We're at 41 is where we started off in Farmington. I mean, these numbers were very chilly this morning. That's the way we started off. First time in a while, you probably saw your breath here in the upper 30s. You probably can't see it right now, but it wasn't a record. 42 is where we started off. 48, that was the 3rd coldest day, just for reference. We're not going to be quite that cold. When we joined you 24 hours ago, maybe a little less, give or take here, because the football run late. We started off, we had some of these numbers in the 40s, and it was 47 yesterday at this time, and 48 in Chesterfield. So once again, I think we're headed for the low 40s in a lot of spots like that. You'll drop Salem on the Missouri side, Salem on the Illinois side. Low to mid 40s. There are going to be some spots that are awfully chilly. 50s in the city, mid 40s, low 40s outside of the city. Probably don't see the 30s, but maybe we'll see 1 or 2. Anthony will join you again in the morning, but it was the coolest that we've had since April 25th. We start a new record. We'll see something like that tomorrow. But we're going to start to change things around here over the next few days. 64, 72, 81, very pleasant. We're warming right back up. We turn our breeze out of the south. Things get warmer. Now we talk about this is our next tropical system. It doesn't look like much right now. Part of it is the radar is working its way closer to Texas, and that's where you can see the rain portion of this. But this is all rain down here, too. There's no radar that we tap into as well. This is going to be Francine, and a different picture shows where this is moving from. So for the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll see that move to the north. And really, for the latest from the National Hurricane Center does get this up to a Category 1 storm. That's different from when we joined you at 5 o'clock. This is still going to be Francine. Now, that is semi-irrelevant to us because it's not going to enter our area as a hurricane, but it may be more organized. Watch where this forecast cone works its way into our area, and that arrives Thursday into Friday. And as a result, it is going to give us an opportunity for rain. Notice the big wide area of this forecast cone. This could shift either way. And what that means is some of us will get rain, some of us may not. This could move and push this direction. Right now, I think the way it looks is we'll start off with rain Friday morning. There'll be periods where that rain settles down and quits, and then eventually kind of sits there and gives us opportunities. And I think what that means for us over the next few days is that it is going to be very dry, and there's a likelihood that we could get some beneficial rain, maybe a month's worth of rain, or maybe less than a half an inch. We'll just have to see about that here coming up throughout the week. But I know that's going to be something we'll watch every single day because it's our only chance for rain that we've had in a long time.
And summer just won't let its hold go. It just won't let go.
It's not that bad, though. It's not humid. It's fine. We got friends with pools. We're fine. You know, you don't want to get rid of the boats just yet because when we get into it, you know there's no turning back.
Well, and the grass needs the rain for sure,
need some
too.
rain. Yep.
Thanks, Gary. Next, one of the best receivers in the NFL arrested just before game time. The video having some throwing penalty flags on the arresting officers. Right now, Kentucky state officials are on the hunt for a man suspected of a highway shooting. 9 vehicles were shot on I-75, leaving 5 people seriously injured. Police suspect 32-year-old Joseph Couch after finding his car on a service road near the shooting. Earlier today, officers found the AR-15 used in the shooting in the woods near the highway. Police say it's a sign they're closing in on him.
I think it's wonderful that we found a weapon. I think that shows everyone that we're headed in the right direction, that there is a suspect possibly still there.
Police still consider Couch armed and dangerous. They're asking residents to not approach him if they spot him. Right now, they're keeping their search focused on a wooded area. Miami police are under fire tonight after arresting Dolphin star wide receiver Tyreek Hill just hours before today's game. Hill's agent says he got a ticket for reckless driving, but video posted on social media shows officers pushing his face down into the ground. Miami-Dade police say they're opening an internal affairs investigation into the arrest and placed one of their officers on administrative leave.
Everybody has bad apples in every situation, you know, so I want to be able to, you know, use this platform, you know, to figure out a way to like flip this and, you know, make it a positive on both ends.
Hill was arrested just 1 block from the Dolphins stadium. He still played in today's game despite the arrest. A classic game show gets a new look. The big changes you'll notice when you tune in to Wheel of Fortune tomorrow night.
This is 5 on your side at 10. Focused on you.
Shock and disappointment tonight in Maryland Heights after fights and gunfire brings a longtime church festival to an abrupt end. Good evening, I'm Laura Barczewski. Mike Bush has the night off. Tonight, 4 people are in custody. The carnival chaos broke out last night at Holy Spirit Parish. That's on Parkwood Lane off Old St. Charles Road. Mercedes McKay has more from stunned faith leaders and neighbors.
I'm still in shock by everything that happened last night, but I am just grateful that all are safe.
Father Bob Evans addressing his congregation before beginning Sunday Mass, just 12 hours after a family-friendly event took a turn.
Keeping people safe, you know, whenever we get together, that's my #1 concern.
That's exactly why he made the call to shut down the parish's carnival after police came to the priest about their concerns with the large crowd and multiple fights. As they were trying to disperse everyone, gunshots fired across the street from Holy Spirit. Where I'm standing right now is in the Parkwood Park area. This is where police say shots rang out Saturday night. Just to show you how close it is to the church is right behind me, just steps away across the street. Now, one parishioner we spoke to as she was heading into Mass Sunday morning said what happened Saturday night is devastating. She's been a parishioner here for over 20 years and says this carnival is the church's largest fundraiser.
We've lost all command and control of our community, and it's a shame.
Paul Berry III documenting the frightening scene on Facebook Live. He was one of the many at the carnival, an event he says is always like a homecoming.
It's always been a safe place for myself, and what happened last night was very unfortunate, but it is really where times are going.
Barry believes a lot more change needs to happen to solve the root of the problem.
You're not going to get rid of guns, and both sides are landlocked on it. They're not going to do anything. You got to look at your elected officials and demand more.
As they use their faith to continue to heal. The future of what this family tradition will look like next year is still unknown.
There'll be a lot of questions asked and answered in the coming weeks about what will the carnival look like in the future.
I'm a supporter in this community to have it because we're going to prove that we can do something safe.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
No one was physically hurt. Maryland Heights police are asking anyone with more information about Saturday night to contact the department at 314-298-8700. The St. Louis Division of the Drug Enforcement Agency is looking for recruits for its very first Citizens Academy. Participants will take part in 5 two-hour sessions focused on the DEA operations and mission to reduce the demand for drugs. They'll also learn about drug raids, search warrant planning, and procedures.
This is so that they can come in and learn exactly what we do, and again, why we do it, and also so that they can get out and just kind of let their friends and families know exactly what law enforcement does and how we're trying to keep the community safe.
Anyone in Missouri and Southern Illinois can apply. The deadline is September 20th. Peanut butter is a popular treat for dogs. Tonight we verify if you could be feeding your pet a spoonful of poison.
Man, temperatures outside cooling off nicely, especially in Washington, Pacific. We're already in the low 50s. How low we go tonight and why I think it's one of the last mornings like this for at least a little while.
Your pet is an important part of your household. Tonight, our Verify team looks into a warning from veterinarians on the items in your home that could be poisonous to pets. Here's Megan Bragg.
Well, according to the ASPCA, American Poison Control Center, or the APCC, there are more than 401,000 cases of pet poisonings each year in the U.S. That's often due to the ingestion of common household items. Now, APCC says xylitol is the 3rd most common toxin for both cats and dogs, which can be found in some brands of peanut butter. But this social media post says xylitol can also be labeled as birch sugar. So is that true, and is birch sugar bad for pets? Let's verify.
Our sources are the American Poison Control Center, the FDA, NC State University, the National Library of Medicine, and Audrey Weisstarch, CEO of Petful. According to NC State University, xylitol is a naturally occurring sugar alcohol in birch trees. It's extracted into a white powder and tastes similar to sugar, so it's commonly used as a low-calorie substitute. While it's not harmful to humans, dogs are a different story.
Dogs do not have the ability to process that chemical compound. And so what ends up happening is they have a severe drop in blood sugar and can cause long-term damage to their liver.
In fact, a study in the National Library of Medicine shows dogs that ingest doses of less than 0.1 grams of xylitol are at a risk for developing hypoglycemia, while dogs that ingest more than 0.5 grams may develop acute liver failure. But when looking at nutritional labels, you'll need to look out for some other common names for xylitol. The FDA says to keep an eye out for ingredients that mention wood sugar, birch sugar, and birch bark extract.
Checking the labels, and I think that the buzzword that people are going to probably see more often than not is the sugar-free. Sugar-free usually means that there's a sugar substitute.
With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
What would you like for us to verify? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. Meteorologist Gary Frank is back with another look at the weather impact forecast.
Yeah, it's not too bad out there right now. Clear and calm conditions allow all that heat to kind of escape that we gained during the day. And it didn't get all that warm. We were in the mid-70s again, but we are very clear and calm. You see from Highland to Cuba. And our record lows, we didn't get to the record low, which was 42. We're at 48 degrees, and we've seen 51 4 times. Third coldest day. Our average is typically in the mid-60s, so we're far away from that. But locally, you've got some numbers in the 40s. What I really want to show you is the fact that we have this cooler air mass, the settling air mass here. We're in between it there in Kansas City, Omaha, Springfield, but then 60s and 70s. We'll get into that, but I think what I want you to know is even when we warm up and we get into this warmer air mass, we're not going to see those numbers where you're in the 70s and mid-70s and it's incredibly humid again. So that's, we at least have that going for us. And overnight, it is still very dry and it's chilly and the wind's light. You definitely need to think about wearing some sort of extra layer tomorrow morning, but it'll warm up pretty quickly. Once again, by 9 and 10 o'clock. That's one thing with the dry air. It warms up very quickly. It also cools down very quickly as well, just because there's no moisture component. So it's nice. We actually have low humidity again, temps in the low 80s tomorrow. But then we'll look at something that's going to bring us more moisture, but it won't be as hot. Now, this is going to be what will be Francine at some point, probably over the next 24 hours. We'll start to see that by probably tomorrow morning. It may be Francine on Monday. And then as we look, this is actually forecast now to be a Category 1 hurricane. It works its way up the Mississippi Valley, brings all that moisture, and then eventually gives us our best chance for rain. So, yes, we have to rely on hurricane remnants potentially for rain, and I think it's going to be for a while. Thursday into Friday, this surges north. We'll see how it sits here, interacts with some dry air, and kind of rains and sits here as well. There could be more rain off to the east. There could be this shifts off to the west. That's still uncertain, but just know, finally, we've got a good chance for rain here as we head into the weekend. As we look at Monday, 83, 54 overnight, you'll notice how we do get to 66 by Wednesday into Thursdays. We're working our way in the 90s. It's still not humid those days. That's much better. There's our rain chance. We'll struggle to get to 80. And as we see kind of rain hit and miss hanging around for the weekend, not all that bad, but we're at least seeing something, and it's a little bit of a change by next weekend.
It's time for On the Move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. Maybe you found yourself tied up in the road construction in St. Charles County near I-70 and 79 lately. And you said, what's going on here? Well, that means it's time for an update on that massive Improve I-70 project. We checked in with MoDOT as the project enters its second phase. Jack Wang tells me that everything with the I-70 and Route 79 bridges are still on schedule, and the Cave Springs and Zumble interchanges are pretty much wrapped up. As a reminder, crews will be working with 3 bridges along 70 this week. The Spencer Creek Bridge just west of 370, the Below Creek Bridge, and the Dardine Creek Bridge. There will be lane closures near these bridges, but the interstate won't be fully blocked. However, you should expect heavy traffic. MoDOT also tells me the contractor for the Improve I-70 project between Warrenton and Wentzville has not been selected yet, but will be announced later this fall. The $2.8 billion endeavor will be broken up into 8 total projects across the state and has about 5 more years before it's completed. Once it's finished, it will be the largest highway construction project in MoDOT's history. Stay safe. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A border battle in the Show Me State. Next, U.S. Senate candidate Lucas Kunce goes on the record about his plan to secure the southern border. This week on the record, the Democrat hoping to unseat Senator Josh Hawley defends his stances on the crisis at the border. Lucas Kunce says he is the only candidate in the race for Senate that would fund response to the U.S.-Mexico border. Here's a sneak peek of Mark's conversation with the Democratic nominee for Senate.
I want to ask your response to some of these ads, some of these discussions and talking points that you might see should you get on that debate stage with him. Right now, a Hawley ad attacks you for opposing construction of a border wall. The Biden administration has continued that construction in the years since he initially opposed it, and Vice President Kamala Harris now says she would continue it after initially calling it un-American. Is she wrong now, or was she wrong then?
See, this is exactly why Josh Hawley won't debate. You know, before I led a police training team in Iraq as a U.S. Marine, I trained with the Border Patrol at our southern border. As far as I know, I'd be the only member of the U.S. Senate who's actually been certified by the Border Patrol Tactical Unit. Like, there are real clear solutions for what we need to do about this border crisis. We need to stop the flow of fentanyl, we need to end catch and release, and we need to fully fund and equip Border Patrol. Josh Hawley doesn't stand for any of those things. You know, he voted against funding for fentanyl scanners. He voted against Republican Roy Blunt's bill that Donald Trump eventually signed into law, funding Border Patrol. And just this year, he voted against a bill endorsed by the guys who trained with me down at the border to secure the border and fully fund Border Patrol. Like, he wants to keep us unsafe, so he has this as a campaign issue rather than actually solve the problem, which is what I'm going to do when I get in the U.S. Senate.
That bill you're discussing, I believe, would have also included funding for a border wall. So is your position today that you would vote for continuing the construction of a border wall if it can with those other things you just mentioned?
Like I said, we need to secure the border. I'm the only person who's running for this office who's going to vote to secure the border, period. He's voted against funding for it 3 times already. He will not fund it. In fact, you talk about border wall, he voted against funding 55 miles of border wall that Donald Trump signed. Like, so the guy is a fraud. He doesn't want to talk about these issues in a debate because he knows he's going to get exposed on them, and that's why he's just doing false attack ads against me nonstop, and hoping that that convinces people instead.
I understand your competition with him electorally, but to voters who might be curious about your evolution on this issue, why did you change your position?
Like I said, you know, we need to secure the border. I stand for that. I've trained with the Border Patrol. I'm certified by the Border Patrol Tactical Unit. I understand the crisis that we have at the border. It's gotten worse and worse and worse, and I'm the only person who's going to do anything to make it safe.
Also on this week's episode of The Record, we check the record on a viral video with a misleading caption. Kamala Harris has a problem with Elon Musk's ex. Political editor Mark Maxwell breaks it down.
Powerful people are willing to pay a lot of money to get your attention. The Department of Justice just this week brought felony charges against 2 covert foreign agents in Russia for conspiring with right-wing social media influencers in America who the DOJ alleges knowingly took $10 million from them. The indictment alleges they disguised those payments using fake personas to funnel the money through shell companies, all for pumping their social media feeds full of inflammatory videos intended to, quote, amplify domestic divisions in the United States. Actual fake news, literally bought and paid for. The owners of that company claim they were the victims here. But what about the people in their audience clicking on those videos, watching them? On the day of the indictment, that company shared this video from 2019 under the misleading caption, Kamala Harris has a problem with Elon Musk's ex.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down.
Maybe you saw that same short clip, obviously edited to remove the portion that came right before it. It was going viral online. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. reshared it too. In fact, he explicitly said Kamala Harris was talking about Elon Musk. Here's the problem. That video aired on CNN, October 15, 2019, when she was a senator running for president. Elon Musk didn't own Twitter at the time, Jack Dorsey did. And she wasn't talking about either of them. The former prosecutor was talking about then President Donald Trump. She argued he was violating Twitter's private terms of service.
I say this as a former prosecutor. You have to take seriously witness intimidation. You have to take seriously an attempt to obstruct justice. You have to take seriously a threat to a witness and really to their safety and potentially their life. And when you're talking about Donald Trump, he has 65 million Twitter followers. He has proven himself to be willing to obstruct justice, just ask Bob Mueller. We're talking about a private corporation, Twitter, that has terms of use, and as far as I'm concerned, and I think most people would say, including members of Congress who he has threatened, that he has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power.
Catch more of these stories and conversations tonight on The Record, coming up in about 40 minutes right after Sports Plus. You can also stream it on the 5+ app. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, how the ghost with the most resurrected box office success. Tomorrow's glow time for Apple. That's how the tech giant is describing the launch event for its latest generation of iPhones. One analyst has called the iPhone 16 the biggest upgrade cycle in its history. The new phones are expected to include a new AI tool dubbed Apple Intelligence. The NFL kicked off this weekend, and tonight we now know who will perform at the final game of the season. Rapper Kendrick Lamar will headline the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. The game will be played February 9th at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And it's almost time to spin the wheel again, but with a new host. Tomorrow, Ryan Seacrest will officially take over as host of Wheel of Fortune. He replaces longtime host Pat Sajak, who retired after more than 8,000 episodes over 41 seasons. Vanna White will be staying on the show as the famous letter turner. You can watch Seacrest's first show tomorrow night at 6:30 right here on 5 on Your Side. Beetlejuice is bringing new life to the afterlife. Beetlejuice topped the box office on its opening weekend with an estimated $110 million in ticket sales. The original opened in 1988 at $8 million and ended up grossing more than $73 million worldwide. Those numbers, however, are not adjusted for inflation. So, Gary, we have another final look at the forecast.
Yeah, we haven't seen
it's
that.
a little warm.
Yeah, we haven't seen that movie, either of those movies, right?
No, we have not,
yeah.
but, you know.
Let me catch up. I heard that's one of the sequels that doesn't, you know,
It didn't
stink.
disappoint, for
yeah,
sure.
I heard it didn't stink, so that's nice. Some of the sequels are not all created equal, but not all days will be created equal because 91 is not going to feel like it's humid, right? So that's the big difference as we work our way further into September. We're getting less and less humidity, but as that humidity increases Thursday into Friday, rain chances will increase as well. That's from a tropical system that is eventually going to become Francine, and by the time you check in with Anthony tomorrow, you may have to see that, we may have it be fully named Francine by then. He'll have an update at 4.
Well, sounds great. A little rain will do it. And that's all for our time for 5 on Your Side on this Sunday night. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next. Then start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4.